So welcome back to TNTV, where we have something very, very special for you today with me, Tony V, and my incredible wife in the purple today with the great hairdo, Nicki V.
Yes, and welcome back. And we were actually in bed yesterday morning, weren't we, saying, what are we going to share this week? And we have come up with something very, very special, because these are the things that are really the biggest disasters, the things that people do, isn't it, Tone?
Absolutely.
That like really destroy an intimate relationship. Therefore, it gives us loads of pain instead of loads of pleasure.
Yes, so there are 3 things, so we're going to share each one individually and explain it. And so if your relationship's not exactly firing on all cylinders, or indeed you want to check out what went wrong in your last relationship, I guarantee that you are doing one of these 3 things. And if it went downhill very fast, it's probably because you're doing more than one of them, yeah? So the first one is, and they actually are 2 C's and a U. So it's very easy to remember. Good. 2 C's and a U.
Yes.
So,
yes. So which one shall I do first?
Let's do certainty.
Right, so actually, we obviously, as you can probably know, especially if you know us or if this is your first time, we can speak for England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, can't we?
Absolutely.
And this subject of how you give your partner, or if you were looking at your last relationship, how you didn't give your partner what Tony calls like up energy. In other words, you're saying things or doing things that really make this relationship go better. And so the first one is actually the thing that we call a never, ever, 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 ever thing for men. So I think probably best of you explain what that is.
Indeed, indeed. So one thing is said that women really, really search for in a man is that he is what we call certain in himself. Now, if indeed you're a guy and you're going, what does that mean? You know, well, look, if you're rummaging around looking for others to support you, others to help you, and worse still, you're looking for your woman to come up with all the answers, this means that you have going on an energy of what we call uncertainty. And if that uncertainty is very prevalent in your life, then if your woman, if you've ever thought to yourself, why does my woman not seem like she trusts me? You know, she's always checking up on me. She's checking, you know, did you park the car in the right place? Did you get that out the bank? Did you do this? Did you do that? That is because her level of trust in you is at some level. Well, I always equate it to a bank account, really. So imagine you've got money in your bank account and then you run out of money and you go into overdraft. Uncertainty is like being in an overdraft. So your woman goes into massive lack of trust because of your uncertainty in yourself. So you have to be certain that you have parked the car in the right place. You have to be certain that you know how much money you've got in the bank. You have to be certain in every aspect of your life. And when you do, your woman will trust you, move towards you, and do amazing things with and for you.
Yes, and actually we understand, we do understand as women that sometimes we can play up. And really it's because however capable we seem to be, we're still looking to feel safe with our man.
Absolutely.
And so what's absolutely fantastic about this man is he has total certainty himself. Now, just for a second, this does not mean we're looking for you to have loads of money in the bank. We're just looking for you to be able to handle things in a really certain way. And then we're just like, well, easy, honestly, aren't we?
I'll tell you, I can't tell you, because in my life I was, you know, giving off a lot of uncertainty without knowing that I was doing it. It was completely unconscious to me. And then, you know, getting a bit frustrated myself as to why this person didn't really trust what I said, did, or those sorts of things. So there you go, guys. It's really one for the guys, is to just be certain in yourself. It really is turning up your male certainty. It's about being, you know, yeah, solid, grounded, know what you're doing. If you're not, then, you know, that's something that we can obviously support and help you with.
Yeah, so that's the you. The never, ever, 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 ever for the guys is give her uncertainty. Indeed. So for the girls, the never, ever, 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 ever is a C. It's called criticism. Now, look, here's the thing. be honest with me. You know that we were with a fabulous woman the other day, weren't we? We went to see her. We recently went to her wedding, and she said, we said, how are you doing? How's the new marriage? How's it all going? And she went, do you know what, Nikki and Tony? She said, I think we're doing really great. I'm remembering all the things I've learned from you. I'm doing all these great things. She said, and she put her head in her hands, didn't she? And she said, I keep criticising him, and I don't know how to stop. And this is the problem, is that you kind of might know when you are being critical. So what does that look like? It looks like somebody saying, like a guy saying, yeah, so what I've planned is this. And we go, no, I don't think we should do it that way. This feels like, well, Tony would tell you, if we had loads of time, Tony would tell you, this feels like crap to a man,
yeah, it's like it's like a knife in the stomach of your masculinity, really.
Yes.
Because it's almost sort of saying, look, you can't handle that properly. And look, guys, if we're having a lot of uncertainty, then know that the criticism dial goes up massively.
Because thank you for saying that, because, you know, us girls, we kind of beat ourselves up really, really badly because we go, oh, look, we keep criticising these men. But actually what happens is when we feel unsafe, however bloody capable we are, we feel unsafe, we start to try and kind of test this man to see whether we can rock him, in which case, obviously, because we're feeling uncertain. So let's just get back to criticism, though. Criticism is, you know, basically challenging or saying things are not done right, or they're, you know, and actually often it's being a bit mothering. It's going, no, you shouldn't be doing it that way. Do it this way. But here's the most frightening thing. Other things feel like a criticism to a man. So if we really want to be in good connection, if we want to be in disconnection, here's what we have to do. We have to make helpful suggestions. We have to have good ideas. So it's not just about criticizing. Sometimes we just keep coming up with reminders and helpful suggestions. So if you want to be disconnected, keep doing this. And it's just the worst thing to do, isn't it?
I can tell you, yesterday I just happened to walk in. We live with Nicki's elderly mum, and bless she, you know, her thing is to watch the telly, yeah? So again, I walked into, you know, the lounge where she sits, she's watching the television, and sure enough is the hotel inspector is on. Now, this is a woman that tells men what to do, yeah?
Yes.
She also tells women what to do, because that's how the programme works. But yesterday she came up against the most awkward of all men, because, and eventually he told her, you know, he didn't want to do what she kept telling him to do. In fact, you know, there's another programme called Men Behaving Badly.
Yes.
He was doing exactly that, and eventually he told her why. You know, because she's like organising all these things, and he's supposed to, you know, come down and chat to all these people. And she's going, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? And he took 45 minutes. Yes. So then when she came down, when he came down, she had a go at him saying, where are you? What are you doing? This to a man is massive criticism. And then he said to her, because he wanted to fight back a bit, yeah? Because he's behaving badly, he said, it's because I'm fed up with being told what to do by a load of women.
That's what he said.
Now, that's exactly what he said. Now,
Right.
that is what's going on inside of any man that gets criticised. And of course, he got to the point where eventually he got a bit angry with her, and out it came, you know.
Yes.
He wasn't able to tell her in a loving, nice way, but look, that's what's going on in the world. So he felt massively criticised that she's come in to tell him how to run his hotel. Now,
Absolutely.
look, truthfully, he was doing a crap job, he was giving loads of uncertainty, and he needed some help. But my point is, it was almost like it was an unconscious reaction to keep being told what to do. To him, felt like a criticism, so he did Men Behaving Badly. So,
well, thank you for that. I mean that. I mean that, because so often the men don't tell us that they're feeling really pissed off inside, and therefore they just go and do whatever they do behaving badly. So that might be, you know, they go out or they go to quiet or whatever they do. So you can always tell as a woman, if you're doing criticism and you're doing helpful suggestions and reminders, if your man moves away from you, just know that that's what you're doing. So that's really great, because you've shared with the women what it feels like to be inside a man. Just like I'm saying to the guys, look, when you're really uncertain about yourself, we feel like we've got to give you helpful suggestions. So can you see how in a relationship these things will happen if we're not really, really careful?
Yeah, so look, our thing is, you remember, it's not about blame. It's about taking responsibility for yourself. So for guys, we need to, get ourselves sorted so we become certain and don't ever give uncertainty. You will have a massively different experience and you're less likely to be criticised. Now, if as a woman you are doing criticism and you're just coming to awareness that actually a helpful suggestion is a criticism, a reminder, can I not remind him? It's all a criticism. So what you think is a criticism is a criticism. Sometimes what you don't think is a criticism is received by a guy as a criticism. So just girls, knowing that gives a man massive down energy, and then you have the experience of a guy in massive down energy, when actually you want an experience of him in up energy. And we'll deal with that in another day. So we're running on in time. So the big third thing is another C. Now,
and it's for both of us. Both
it's
men and women.
For both of us. And I want to tell you that there's some research to back this up. There's a guy called Gottman. I think his name's John, actually. Anyway, cool. He's a professor. We call him Professor Gottman. And he has a thing called the Love Lab in Seattle, in the northwest of the United States. And he's an amazing guy because for all of his life, he's studied intimate relationships and how they work. But he hasn't done it in the way that we do it. He's done it in a very scientific way. So what he does is he gets couples and he plugs them all into this incredible machinery that he's invented. And then he takes apart the results, having done it with thousands and thousands of couples. Now, over the years, we've followed Gottman for probably 10 years because he's such an interesting guy, yeah? And what he has now done is he's said that there is one major thing that people do that they don't necessarily know they're doing, which he can guarantee you will destroy your relationship. So we're going to share what that is.
The great thing is that because he's been doing that study for so many years, he got it down to like 20 things that people do in relationships, which is very much similar to what we use and what we've already shared today. And then he got down to 4. And then he recognised, because it's been over this period of time, that he was saying, if this thing is present, he could verify it. He said that relationship will break down. It will break down to separation or divorce or whatever that is. And this one thing is, well, I was just thinking about doing a little demo. Are you all right with that? He's going to know he's going to horrible. But, maybe it might show you rather than tell you.
Yeah.
Because what it means, what this thing is when we elevate ourselves into a feeling like better than. So we look down on somebody and we say something with the word is contemptuous. And it's not just being critical, right, which obviously we've already talked about. It's actually saying, instead of saying like, which is bad, by the way, of course, remember what we said, but it's like, I didn't really think that you did that very well. That's bad enough. Right? But contempt is it's like, you have to go a bit higher. I don't think you did that very well. I would have done it differently. You see, stop that now.
Yeah.
And that's called contempt. And I mean, we just agree with Gottman, don't we? 100%.
I'll tell you, we've seen it. We've seen it. We've sat with many couples ourselves. It wasn't really until he shared that with us that we're going, oh my God, yeah, like you can see it. You can absolutely see it. So again, once you become aware, then you can start the journey of stopping it. Because trust me, you'll be doing it on autopilot. It's something that you will have done for a long time, which is sort of take on a superior attitude to the other person and literally look down on them as though they're a minion or, less than you. And, interestingly enough, if one or the other of you does it, that's still curtains. If you're actually both doing it, it's just curtains quicker. Yeah. So
and actually, it's kind of subtle. That's why we want to share it with you today, because once you're aware of it, you can't kind of unknow it, as we always say. And it's like sometimes we even find ourselves doing it, and we go, okay, we just did that. It's so subtle.
It's horrid. Yeah. I call it. In my world, I can see what I'm doing is I'm being like a bit of a smart ass. Like, I know that. Why don't you know that? Or sometimes I say to Nicki, well, you've just done that. That's not what we teach.
Oh,
you see how that's contemptuous?
I hate that one.
Look at the result. I mean, I deserve a slap, and of course I sort of experience. Whilst I don't get a slap, I experience as somebody who's gone into down energy, which isn't what I want to experience at all. But of course, I created that experience of their down energy because I've been contemptuous. Now, you know, we are super aware and we still fall into the trap occasionally, but of course we've also become very forgiving and understanding, and we also spot when we've done it. So, you know, we can undo it, so to say. But, you know, effectively, it's better if you get that out of your autopilot system and swap it for something else, like telling your woman how beautiful she looks, you know. You see how that's going to give her up energy? I mean, look. Doesn't she look incredible?
Oh, and it's also like what we said last week, because remember last week, if you didn't see it last week, you go on to wherever you go, when they go to see last week's, it was about doing that. It was about going, okay, we're really disconnected, something's just happened, and so what we did is, you know, what I love about you is just, remember mine, my quick one is everything. I love about you is everything.
So look, you know, basically contemptuous behaviour will move you apart, create a huge gap between you that then becomes like at some point of the game, if you tread over that line, then it becomes irreparable. So before it becomes irreparable, or if you notice, oh my God, that's what I was doing in my last relationship, then let's make sure that in the next one we're not doing that again. So that's it for TNT this week. Certainty and uncertainty. Make sure, guys, that you've turned your certainty dial up in yourself, and that way you won't get criticised. Your helpful reminders and all of that stuff will all go down. And of course,
no criticism and no helpful suggestions, and lots of what I love about you is.
And of course, that contemptuous behaviour, if you catch yourself doing it, just, as we always say, stop it. Yeah. Great. So we'll see you next week with some other valuable insight into intimate relationships. So until then, from me, Tony V, and the amazing and beautiful Nicki V.
Yes, let us know how you're getting on, don't forget.
Yes, questions below, of course, as always. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.